This is Spoken by Elswith, a Femdom Hypnosis podcast, Season 4. Will you fail these 5 headspace questions? So we're going sledding today. You can call it tubing, tobogganing, whatever. You get the idea. Today's podcast episode, it is going to be a hypnosis session, so I do expect you to listen to it when you have privacy and safety. It's not for listening to while you're commuting to work. It does require the Going Deeper Faster trigger, and you'll find the link to that in the session notes. Now, I came up with this idea in a kind of unlikely way. It's partly because today is December 1st. Now, I don't remember this as much in the US being a thing. Maybe it is now because, that's a little bit how commercialism goes, right? The whole Advent calendar thing. I think they used to always just be little pieces of chocolate and they're behind these little numbered doors in a cardboard thing. But then it grew. There is everything you can imagine available out there, from beard oil to cheeses and hot sauce or gin, toiletries, just really a bit of everything. This way of counting to Christmas. But for me, I kind of like this as a wrap-up to 2022. I don't know what your year has been like. Hopefully fantastic. But I do know we all tend to start the year with certain expectations, and as time goes, sometimes that changes. Usually, it changes. So, for today's session, we're going to do a bit of that, but it is going to all be within the headspace. Now, the reason why I'm putting this inside the headspace is mostly because of honesty. Honest with yourself, honest with me. And the reason that came to mind, it's because of this guy. We're not going to call him a gentleman. I suspect that type of person, the manners are all for show. Just someone I happen to bump into kind of regularly because of the gym. And he had made a comment of... man, I'm not even giving the backstory to this because it's really kind of boring and a little bit cringe and cliche anyway. But a line that he said was being willing to lie about how we met. That is one of the headlines or things in like dating apps and so on that never fails to catch his attention. And I got to wonder, I'm guessing for some that just means lying about finding each other on Tinder and so on. But it's kind of a fun little daydream, right? To think about different ways that people would meet and then become very attracted, attached to each other, and the two people coming up with this mutual lie that they tell their circle of friends and family and so on. But they of course, within the inner circle of just them, they know the truth. And I love that kind of truth. I also get a bit of a kick out of that kind of a lie. Just because it's I don't know, the hopeless romantic bit of it, perhaps. So, if you want, tell me in a message or email. You can comment, but again, I'm kind of bad at seeing comments, especially if they're YouTube ones. What scenario, unlikely, you can't use what I just said, would it be that two people would meet and they would both adopt that, willing to lie about how they met? Okay, so what I want you to do before we get into today's session is either pause it here and wait until you're able to listen, or go ahead and find a bit of your comfort. A good spot to be in. Take a few good deep breaths. It's quite unlikely there'll be anything in today's session that could be upsetting unless you hate snow. If you really hate the snow, you're gonna have to skip today. And there's also a version without the podcast intro that will be available on the Spoken by Elswith website. That link should also be in today's session notes. So go head over to the website if you want to download not a podcast version of this hypnosis session. This is Submission Snowglobe Session, spoken by Elswith. Before you go on, be sure to read the session notes to make yourself aware of the required triggers and other disclaimers and warnings. Ensure that you're familiar with an appropriate safe word session before any play with me. I want you to use that rich imagination of yours to go ahead and imagine a room with wooden floors, no furniture. A snow globe is in the middle of the room on the floor. And just a little bit away from it, there's a pile of snow gear, clothes, hats, etc., just right there, waiting. Go ahead and move closer to the snow globe. It's a pretty typical one. There's the idyllic country cottage, the thatched roof over stone walls, and all of it blanketed by a fresh layer of perfect white snow. There's a warm orange light spilling out of the front windows, and a dark green wreath hanging on the door. And of course, there's a ruby red bow right there at the bottom of the wreath. There's already a snowman out front with his proud black hat and branches for arms, each ending in spindly forked fingers. Behind the cottage, the edge of a pine forest stands, watching over the rising hills. This snow globe, it holds your attention, and you know that the pile of snow-clothes gear sitting next to it is meant for you. As you pick up the first item, a lovely rich wool sweater, you can see that it's just a bit too small for you. But you know that you're to put it on anyway. as you pull the sweater over your head and work your arms into the sleeves, you can feel yourself begin to shrink, shrinking enough to fit into the sweater, feeling yourself become a bit shorter as well, moving down closer to the snow globe. The next item of clothing that you choose from the pile is a pair of over trousers, the kind with the elasticated straps that goes over your shoulders to keep them up, to keep them snug. And just like the jacket that's coming next, they'll keep you dry in the cold snow and the wet slush. So go ahead and step into those over trousers, the trousers that appear to be too small for you, but you know that as you slide your feet down, you feel yourself smaller, and the trousers, they fit with no problem at all. Pull the straps up over your shoulders. Feel how you're held. And next, pick up that jacket. The downy jacket meant to keep you warm, dry. Down is good for many things. And again, as you slip on this jacket, the next item of wintry clothes, you know you move down, closer to the snow globe, perfectly, exquisitely smaller. The next items sitting there are a pair of boots. They're heavy, but they're waterproof. They're lined, insulated. You know your toes are going to stay warm and dry. And you bend down, lean down to tie the lace. My voice went. I'm going to start with, and you bend down. Okay. And you bend down. Kneel down to tie the laces. Chunky laces. So it's pretty good you don't have your gloves on already. First the one, then the other. And now you know you're impossibly small, a size you wouldn't have imagined yourself going down to before. It's easy to reach the gloves that are on the floor. Bend over again, down again, and pick up the gloves. Not just warm and waterproof, but they'll give your hands a little extra protection if you slip and have to catch yourself. Down smaller. Open and ready. Close your eyes if you haven't already. And now feel the flakes on your face. The wet, cold snow falling down down out of the sky, down towards you, gently, softly, feeling the flakes on your face, knowing that you've entered into the snow globe. In my snow globe and my headspace, you will find many paths. I've created these paths to fork and come together. Each spot where they come together is marked with a small wooden sign. Consider it a choose-your-own-adventure type of affair. Although be aware that your choices won't always lead you to where the paths merge again. You may find that you have to stop, bring yourself out of trance, and then begin again. I have no doubt that you've experienced times in your life when you effortlessly stuck to your path. Your determination and clear goals made it so choosing to leave the path was unthinkable. Each choice, each decision to stay on your path further cemented your commitment to doing so. You get in that flow, climbing the hills fueled by your past success and already anticipating the future wins. Climbing the hills is something you will be doing in my snow globe. The paths that I have here for you are hills to go up or hills to slide down. Doing this physical activity, it not only exercises the body, but also the mind. And with each step you take up these hills in my snow globe, your thinking can become clearer, more focused, and you can grow more attentive. With your problem-solving skills also improving, as well as your imagination, your determination. The cognitive benefits of heading outdoors in the headspace on this active pursuit could see you working out a myriad of mysteries, puzzling out puzzles, and even understanding the essence of yourself. Your submissive entranced journey into being the perfectly mesmerized, hypnotized, made and remade version of yourself. But you know that I don't have a too small mold that you need to fit into. Instead, it's a process of growth, growing into your authentic self that makes you special, wonderful. Climbing is growing better with each step, growing clarity with every step. Climbing, then sledding down, speeding along with abandon, feeling that wind and the win. Your work, the climb, is rewarded in that moment. You know the next uphill, even if it leaves you breathless and legs burning, is one you'll climb because you're in this flow. You're steadfast. You're unstoppable. Until, that is, you stop. Choosing the smaller hill, much smaller, and the shorter sledding down doesn't give you the high, the sense of reward that you're used to. And somehow, at the next fork, you decide you can't climb that higher hill. And again, you go for the much smaller one. Barely a minute of reward as you slide down, until you decide it's not worth it anyway. You're cold, uncomfortable, and nobody seems to care about sledding. They're all inside on PTTFOs with hot chocolate. And that's normal, especially as New Year's resolutions wane and the year does too. Sometimes it doesn't even take a year. Monday's motivations, they're not quite the same when Friday comes about, or the beginning of that fresh month feels not so fresh at the end. And here we are, with one monthly calendar page left. Only a few weeks until we rip it off, coming face to face to blank cardboard back, and we replace the whole thing. But I have no desire to let you drift aimlessly or get plowed. Well, that might be fun. But in this case, I don't want you stuck, frozen in a snowbank. I want you ready for that new calendar, new adventures, and better self that we are always working on. So as you travel through this submissive snow globe, you will take the time to be honest with you, me, and the trees about yourself. Repeat this session throughout December. My snow globe is about submission, not sadism, even though that has its place. It isn't for you to self-flagellate and get bogged down by sadness. We're not doing some never-ending story swamp thing here. It's climbing and sledding, starting again when necessary, but mostly just learning and sharing with me because I do love all of those thoughts and feelings. I also love goals that have nothing to do with the mundane world's idea of proper. We're not doing proper New Year's goals and mindfulness. Don't tell me how this is the year you'll keep your receipts in order and your biggest failing of 2022 was not keeping up on that daily jog. Another common, mundane, New Year's resolution is to travel more. But what does that mean? Most people never define it. Is it to travel to places lots of others have been so you can share on social media that you've done so? Or can you, my dear, astute, mindful man, think on that deeper? How would one of mine answer that question? What does travel more mean? Is it merely travel more? Of course not. You know it's deeper. It's not generic travel. It's not just having the pictures to show. Maybe it's that wilderness hike that refreshes your biorhythms. You begin to notice the little things, the colors of the wings on an insect, the smell of mud or evergreens as you go past, the shape of a cloud, and the sound of trees whispering among themselves. The feeling of your strength as your muscles propel you forward, reaping rewards that the average person may not understand. But I know that you are not average, nor do you desire to be. The average man doesn't open his mind to manipulation. Daydream the dreams put there by me, and forever crave more. Captured by word runes, so many that you can't count. In a headspace that's both familiar and safe while being utterly under my control. The chair that offers a comfortable rest can morph in an instant. Plush seat gone, replaced by cold steel. And the velvet arms now have 2 leather straps to keep you secure. I mean, the average man doesn't ever visit a place like this. But now isn't the time for chairs, restraining or otherwise. Now is the time for you to begin your journey, walking the paths of the snow globe, going along to the signs. Do you see the first one? Go on and read the sign. It says, I know my place in Ellsworth's headspace. Now maybe you don't know it entirely, there's always more to explore. But let's start here. Most important, can you feel when you've crossed into it? Can you follow my instructions to bring yourself here? And then there's the more in-depth question. Do you know your place, your goal or destination? How far you're willing to go? What you're heading towards? Now, if you feel confident that you can enter this space, either when invited or when you need or want to visit the spots always available to you, and you know your place, your goals, you know how far you need to go for me, go ahead and slide down the hill. Enjoy that reward. If you're unsure about the second part, you don't quite know where you want to go, which rooms or roles that you're willing or wanting to explore, the depth of your devotion, go ahead and climb the hill. Use that climb, the walk up the hill as your time. You don't need to have it all worked out, but you do need to be honest with yourself and with me in this place. This climb up that snowy hill is my gift to you, and I do love to give you good things. Honestly think about how far you'd let yourself grow, change, explore, in this safe headspace as you go up this hill. When you have answers or can go no further, slide down the hill to the next sign. But if the answer to the first part is no, you don't feel the headspace, you can't sense or have any idea of when you've entered the headspace, your journey is at an end. Now, if you are climbing or sliding, you will not follow this instruction. It is only if you are standing still at this sign, "I know my place in Ellsworth's headspace," that you will hear and obey my instruction to wake fully out of trance at the count of 5. For those climbing or sliding, keep going. Hear only the music. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we reach the next sign. It says, "If not now, then when?" If not now, then when? When will you learn how to experience the magic of my headspace fully? When will you add to it yourself in the ways that you know I want from you? When will you allow yourself to have the persona, personality, training that you should have here? If not now, then when? If you know, if you're sure, go ahead, slide on down the hill. Otherwise, it's time to climb. There is no easy exit here. You're either sliding or climbing, thinking, being honest with you and me and these evergreen trees. There's nobody else here. And after you've climbed, after you've done as much thinking as you can do of when you will be ready, go ahead and slide down to the next sign. On the next sign, you see the words, "Name what is enough for you." Name what is enough for you. Slide if you know, and climb if you need to think. But if you don't know, or worse, you have no idea even where to begin thinking, it's time for you to go. If you're unwilling to be honest, and I can't stand a coward when it comes to honesty, giving the what seems right answers instead of the actual truth. If this is you, your journey is at an end. If you are climbing or sliding, you will not follow this instruction. It is only if you are standing still at this sign name what is enough for you, that you will hear and obey my instruction to wake fully out of trance at the count of 5. For those climbing or sliding, keep going. Hear only the music. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now find yourself at the next sign. See the question, what is my headspace life asking of me? What is my headspace life asking of me? If you know, if you fully know, which I seriously doubt, go ahead and slide. But if you're honest, you know you need to climb, to think, to walk up this snowy hill. There's no escape to this one. You will face it. You will climb up the hill, thinking, imagining, envisioning what it is your headspace life should be like, what it's asking of you. Go on. When you've reached as high as you can go, you can slide down to the last sign. Here we are at the final sign. The final sign in this interesting trip through my snow globe. This part of my headspace. On this sign you see the words, when all is said and done, what will I have said more than I've done? Are you all words and no action? Are you all wishes instead of doing? And I am referring to us, our relationship here in this headspace. You who claim to want to go under, to be so deep entranced, to be captured by my words, to be made and remade, molded. Your mind open, all of your thoughts and feelings belonging to me, showing me your devotion in many, many ways. When all is said and done, what will you have said more than you've done? At this sign, there is no sliding down. There is no escape. You will think about it. You will think about your devotion to me, and you will mull over the ways that you can improve. You will think about any empty promises, empty words, things that you've said but didn't follow up on. And you will think about those things that you should have done, will do, can't wait to do. Because when you know better, you do better, don't you, my pet? So use this time, this snowy climb up this hill, to think it through. Maybe even plan your next actionable step. Climbing up, thinking, being more than just words, actions. And when you've reached as high as the hill goes, you will slide down. And I want you to fully enjoy that sensation. Let it fill you up. Let it be the wind and the win and the confidence. Let it be exactly what you need in this moment to propel you forward to be exactly what I want forever. You've done a wonderful job taking this trip into my snow globe. Following along, being honest with yourself, being honest with me, and you will come back to this place again and again this month, learning more with each journey. But now it is time for you to wake up fully. I will count from 0 to 10, and you will feel refreshed and good about yourself, fully remembering your experience here and what you've learned. You may even decide that this is worth writing down while it's all fresh in your head. 0, 1, 2, 3, leaving the snow globe. 4, 5, back into your regular clothes. 6, your regular size. 7, 8, feeling energy flowing throughout your body. 9, up and out of trance. 10. Welcome back.